To the I-Team now. It is a worthy effort. Georgians who rescue dogs from crowded animal shelters before they're euthanized.
But a December animal cruelty arrest raises questions about whether some are more focused on the rescue and less on where those dogs wind up.
Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis is here now with more on what he found. Randy?
Russ and Courtney, more than 6 years ago, actually nearly 6 years ago, a Kennesaw man was charged with animal cruelty after authorities found his filthy house packed with rescue dogs. The animal rescue community was stunned. But last month, with the same man, it somehow happened again. I'm getting a whiff of it right now, Chief. The smell still lingered outside a week after these pictures were taken inside. Imagine the stench back in December. Authorities had to wear respirators to get through this house in Calhoun. They counted 21 dogs and 3 cats, many of them sitting in cages stacked on top of each other.
We actually had one dog that was soaking wet, and we realized that the only way that could have happened was if another animal had urinated and it just dropped down on top of him.
They took David Edwards into custody, charged with misdemeanor animal cruelty. He served as a volunteer foster home for animals rescued from area shelters, a temporary spot until they could be placed in permanent homes.
The only thing he told us is if y'all will give me about a week and come back, I'll have all this cleaned up and everything taken care of.
Could he have cleaned it up in a week?
I don't know that it can ever be cleaned up.
The chief says they may have to actually tear it down to the studs to make it safe. They've also started to haul away some of the debris, including this. What you're looking at is the sofa that was in the middle of the den. One of the dogs had to be euthanized after biting Animal Control Director Clyde Burchett. 5 others remain at the Calhoun Animal Shelter. The rest returned to the rescue groups that originally vouched for Edwards.
Worst I've ever seen.
So why did it have to happen twice? In 2017, Kennesaw police found 16 dogs in unsanitary conditions living in a home owned by David Edwards.
And you know how those rescue people are, guilting you at every turn.
Edwards actually seemed relieved that authorities were shutting him down.
I obviously look terrible. I'm clinically depressed. I don't want to live like this. I want this to be over.
Edwards was indicted on misdemeanor animal cruelty, a judge ordering him to pay $21,000 to cover Cobb County's cost of caring for the dogs. The rest of the court records are sealed. So how did Edwards and more dogs wind up in the same horrible situation just 5 years later?
People think that, you know, if you're in rescue that you're a good person. I used to think like that too.
Jason Flatt runs the oldest pit bull rescue in Metro Atlanta. When Edwards was busted the first time, Flatt urged other rescue groups to stop using him as a foster home.
The first time everybody's like, oh, support Dave Edwards, he didn't do anything wrong. Unfortunately, people just see dogs leaving pounds, but they don't see where they're going, and they don't vet the people that are taking these dogs in.
Since Edwards does not have his own nonprofit, he fostered dogs for licensed rescue groups. But state law requires those groups inspect their foster homes every 6 months. Calhoun authorities say 3 of the seized dogs belong to Ginny Milner Rescue in Atlanta. Ms. Milner did not respond to questions about the last time she inspected Edwards' Calhoun home or why she trusted him after his first animal cruelty arrest.
People say, oh, you need to show compassion towards people. I show compassion to people who want to change. The rescue begins when you take a dog.
Late today, Edwards' attorney Max Hirsch issued a statement saying in part, quote, Mr. Edwards' intentions were to save as many animals as possible. He certainly tried to rescue more than he was able to. His intentions were to save animals' lives. He made a mistake by trying to save them by the dozens. And he is out on bond now. He's not in jail anymore up in Calhoun.
Okay. Is there any chance they could have inspected the home and not seen the problems you're talking about?
I don't think there's any way, Russ, if they had gone inside that house, that it could have passed inspection. In fact, I talked to some other people in rescue who had run into Dave Edwards in passing out at various animal shelters, and they said he sadly smelled. He smelled horrible, and that would have been a huge warning sign, I would think, for any rescue group wanting to know whether he was the right guy to care for the dogs that they had, quote, rescued from the animal shelter. But, you know, as Jason Flatt said, the rescue starts when you take the dog out of the shelter. It doesn't end there.
Yeah. All right. Randy, thanks.
Okay. Thanks.